All right, so we want to talk about the wooden figurine, and I think this is something that it has a little bit of a life lesson to it, right? So I'm going to kind of read this a little bit, the notes that I have, but the notes that I've taken from the particular scroll for the camera, for you guys who are historical ninja buffs and historical samurai buffs, it comes from a scroll called the Kaden, the Heiho Kaden Sho, which is a Yagyu family scroll. So it comes to the Yagyu transmission. And there's a specific point in there that talks about the wooden dummy, right? Or the wooden figure. I don't exactly know the name of the lesson, but I think, if memory serves right, the lesson's actually called the wooden figure or the wooden dummy, okay? Now, I'm going to kind of go through, I'm going to loosely read what I wrote down, but then I'll give you kind of the gist of what he's going with, okay? It says, a human figure made of wood does not become affected mentally, even when its eyes see a flower or a bird. Logically, a wooden figure has no mind and cannot be affected. However, we must train to obtain this skill of becoming unaffected. So Yagyu's, imagine, the reason I think that the deepest philosophy comes from, not from us, from the modern day, is because in the modern day everyone tends to, they don't think themselves logically and deep. All they do is superficial, get on this is their answer. They don't think about anything anymore, right? So that's why we always go, we don't have philosophers anymore. Everything has to be ancient. Religion has to be ancient. Because we don't really respect the thoughts of people anymore, because everyone just starts relaying the same shit that they see on the internet, right? Like earlier, like what did Dr. Google say, right? Yeah, exactly. What's exactly the point? So here, Yagyu's saying a human figure made of wood does not become affected when it sees a flower or a bird. Logically, it doesn't have a brain, so it's not going to anyway. He goes on to say, when you see a flower, bird, war, you must see this mindlessly. When you go to war, you shoot an arrow or you swing a sword, you must do this mindlessly. Meaning, when you do it, you don't do it and then think about what you're doing. You do it and do it. You don't think about what you're doing, you just do what you're doing. You have to have that same mindset. You know what I mean? So, a natural state of mind, the mind is mindlessness. If you do anything with an agitated mind, nothing will be done the way it should. I think we all can agree, if you're frustrated, like we talked about earlier, if you're frustrated or your mind isn't focused on what it's doing, you're not going to do it correctly, right? So you don't want to do anything with an agitated mind. He says, like all the Buddhas are said to have an unmovable mind, which we know the unmovable mind is Fudoshin, unmovable mind or unmovable spirit. So what Yagyu's saying is you need to train at such a level that you do not become affected by what you see. What you see is just the problem. Your training gives you the skill set to take control and to carry out whatever task you need to do, but do not become affected by what you see. You need to be mindless. Don't let what they do change that mind. Does that make sense? So a lot of times people do become affected, like someone walks up to you and they push you. Come here, pussy, I'm going to kick your fucking ass, push you again, all this. Well, if they wanted to kick your ass, they just throw a punch. What they're trying to do is get in your mind. What they're trying to do is intimidate. If they wanted to fight, they'd have hit you, right? So what they're trying to do is get the advantage before they hit you. They want to make sure you're not going to fight back. They want to make sure that you're going to cower down, because when you do, that's when they hit you. You catch what I'm saying? So if you remain unaffected, when they're saying, fuck you, fuck that, you're a pussy, this, you stay calm, right? And you just look at them, and you keep your head about yourself. You keep that distance. You don't let them have the advantage. You haven't taken the advantage, but you haven't given them the advantage. And then whatever they do, your training then takes over as you take that and then put that into whatever the option or whatever it is that they do. Does that make sense? And then you have the correct response to the action that's given.